Welcome to Virtual Labs at Electrical Engineering Department, IIT Bombay. Let me introduce you to the CPID Development Board. This board is meant to aid you in learning the concepts of digital design in a hands-on manner. CPID stands for Complex Programmable Logic Device. You can implement any logical design on the CPID. Moreover, it's reconfigurable, which means you can erase any previously implemented design and get a new one altogether. The best feature of the board is that it can be accessed through a USB port, which gives you compatibility with any modern day computer. The board is meant to cater to the needs of second and third year undergraduate students. The prerequisites are a basic understanding of digital logic and introduction to hardware description language. For those who are unacquainted with them, please refer to our website for help. Now, let us take a look at how to actually go about programming the board. Thank you. Now, let me introduce you to the actual board, complete with all the features. This is the CPID, your target device that you want to program. The programming is carried out through the USB port, and the USB controller acts as the interface between the CPID and the computer. The board is equipped with 8 onboard inputs, 8 onboard outputs. Also, there are 10 general user I/O pins which can be used to interface the board with external circuitry. There is an onboard clock of 1 Hz which ensures that you can see the output of sequential circuits without the need of an additional function generator. Now, let us start the programming procedure, first by using Altera Quartus for generating the required device file, and then using JTAG to program the file into the device. First, start the Altera Quartus 2 web edition. Run the new project wizard. Select the appropriate device from the drop-down box. Open the appropriate VHDL file and run the compilation. Once the compilation is successful, go to the pin planner to assign the appropriate input-output pins. As you can see, you can assign a particular input-output pin to any of the pins that are available. To know which pins have been configured as onboard inputs and onboard outputs, please refer to the user manual. Once you have configured the I/O pins properly, compile the design again. Go to the pinout file and just confirm once whether the appropriate assignments have been made or not. Once that is done, you are ready to generate the final programming file. Go to Tools, Programmer, and we'll be needing all the files in the serial vector or SVF format as it's called. That's it. Now the programming file is ready. Now we switch over to your JTAG and program the device through that. Start the JTAG shell first. Now the set of commands will be followed in a sequential order. First, establish connection with the board. Once that is done, identify the device that has been connected. The software actually connects and verifies the device signature. Now the present code execution is paused until the new code has been put in. That's it. We are now ready. As you can see from the previous videos that a 4-bit counter was being implemented on the board, and now we have programmed it to work as a 4-bit multiplier. As you can see, the device has been configured to act as a 4-bit multiplier, and the output changes whenever you change the input.